The FBI has recently foiled a right-wing plot against Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. So now Gretchen Whitmer, of course, has been targeted by conservatives because of her incredibly tough measures to control the coronavirus outbreak in her state, as well, of course, as being a Democratic woman, or that woman, according to Donald Trump. So let me give you some background here. Disclosure, okay? I was not in favor of Whitmer during the Michigan Democratic primary. So I was in favor of Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed. I still think he'd be an excellent governor. That said, I have to give a lot of credit to Gretchen Whitmer and how she's actually handled this. Even though I think that some of the measures might have been a little too tough, you can't argue with results. Michigan's actually one of the top states for handling the coronavirus pandemic. And it's actually because we have competent leadership. That said, Whitmer, in order to do that, used massive emergency powers to institute, things like mask mandates, lockdown measures that have been pretty successful when it comes to lowering the new infections of coronavirus. That said, conservative groups, and even the President of the United States, who eggs them on, and by the way, President Trump's been spreading coronavirus all over the place, all over the White House. They're not fans of Whitmer, leading, of course, to a terror plot in order to storm Lansing and kidnap her as part of a larger effort to overthrow the government. I'm not kidding. These are very, very anti-government people, right? Super, super right-wing. So now let me give you some of the details. On Thursday afternoon, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel revealed that the FBI had arrested more than a dozen white men and charged them with a number of serious crimes for their plan to abduct the governor and violently targeting law enforcement as an attempt to foment civil war. So, again, this is your right-wing plot to go and try to do a civil war in this country. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Because most people are actually more united than you would think. There's tons of Republicans that are like, no, dude, these guys are crazy. And nobody wants no civil war. All right, not interested. But there are these crazed anti-government extremists that have always been talking about civil war. Again, they've been talking about it for decades. And so I'm not surprised to see something like this happen. That said, more details here. Let's see. The FBI said in an affidavit that it became aware people were discussing an overthrow of the government through social media posts back in early 2020. And in June, 2 of those ultimately charged met more than a dozen others in Ohio to discuss what they said creating a society that followed the U.S. Bill of Rights and where they could be self-sufficient. So again, literal, like, we're going to take over a part of the United States and basically break away from it. Now, to me, that sounds like the sovereign citizens movement. Okay. Now, one in the group, Adam Fox, then contacted a local militia group the FBI had already been monitoring with an informant inside over concern that it was plotting to kill police officers, according to the affidavit. In a June 14th phone call, Fox talked of needing 200 men to storm the Capitol building in Lansing in order to take hostages, including the governor. He then said that they would try her for treason before November. So this is about as serious it can get. Trying to get 300 dudes to storm the Capitol building with guns. And don't think they haven't already thought about that. I mean, look, anytime you get extreme right-wingers with guns, expect there to be some sort of trouble. Complete insanity. I mean, it's... Here we go. It's kind of funny because these same people, by the way, were also caught at an earlier rally against Gretchen Whitmer because of the mask mandates. Weird. I thought right-wingers were in favor of law and order. Well, not these guys. These are anti-government people, as I said before. And understand, though, Whitmer has been tough. She has. She allowed people to even be charged $1,000 for not wearing your mask or even given jail time. I know that's a threat. I disagree with the punishments of that, but at the same time, I doubt anybody would actually get sentenced to that if they get caught without a mask. It's basically what it is that it's an implied threat to get people who are MAGA and anti-science to go and wear masks so they can stop spreading coronavirus all the place. And their response has been, well, let's break laws then. We don't agree with it, so let's break laws. Wait, whatever happened when, let's see, to these very same conservative groups, when the former governor, Republican governor, Rick Snyder was breaking laws? When they were basically overriding democracy. Yeah. Not there. Not there. All right. So I guess laws don't apply if white conservatives don't like them, especially, of course, if they're based on scientific and medical advice. But it is kind of ironic, though, that the same kind of ideology that tells black people that they should have obeyed the law if they didn't want to get shot also went against the law. But again, I think I'm conflating two different groups here. In reality, again, these are your incredibly anti-government right-winger groups. They're very, again, was very anti-government. Yeah, just anti-government. All right, anyway. So now, that said, these people, look, these people are being, and this is the worst part, they're being pushed by right-wing media. They're being pushed by right-wing politicians. For example, Donald Trump went after Gretchen Whitmer on Thursday for thanking the FBI for doing their jobs. So, I mean, Donald Trump put out a bunch of tweets saying, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't thank me because the FBI did their job and prevented you from being kidnapped. You should thank me for it." Well, now, wait a minute. I mean, what balls to go and say that? No self-awareness. Donald Trump had nothing to do with the FBI arrest of these 7 people who plotted to kidnap the governor. Nothing. In fact, Donald Trump, if anything, has made it so that people would target the governor. In fact, he consistently went after her, calling her, again, that woman, saying, "Liberate Michigan," back in mid-April, encouraging the protesters that stormed the state capitol during a debate back in May about the lockdown. In fact, again, 2 of the men arrested were involved in that protest. Those protesters were basically referred to by Trump as, quote unquote, very good people. And he consistently refuses to condemn white supremacists. And then, of course, afterwards, after getting called out, he's like, "Who are they? I don't know who the Proud Boys are." After you told them to stand down and stand ready. It's obvious who butters his bread. We know that. But then Donald Trump would go on to attack left-wing groups. It's the Antifa. But he leaves out that these anti-government groups are right-wing extremists. And right-wing extremism is the number one threat in this country. In fact, the DHS just released a report earlier this week that had been accused of being slow-walked because of the election that cited right-wing supremacist groups as the most lethal in this country. They said, the report said, as a whole, domestic violence extremist groups remain the largest security threat facing the country, and that within that subset, white supremacist extremists are the most dangerous. Well, that's what we have. We have white supremacist extremists. And they're running all over the country. It's not Antifa. It's not the Black Lives Matter. And no, it's white supremacists. They are the most dangerous. Now, I don't know 100% if these were white supremacists, to be fair. But it's clear they're very right-wing, very well armed, very dangerous people. And so that's it. And they wanted to literally take over the state of Michigan because they don't like the laws here. Because they're not interested. And they're willing to kill police officers as well. So the next time, by the way, you think that, oh, no, it's the left that's the real problem. Those are the ones that are targeting cops. No, it's armed right-wing extremists. They're always the ones that are targeting police and undermining actual law and order. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.